to the studio.
And you came straight to the studio. What was happening in SA?
I was taking a break
Girl.
for a few days.
Right.
It's quite a lot. Pageant preparation is a lot. It's not something to joke with. So I needed to take a break from that.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm back.
Okay. And when you took a break, what does a break look like for you?
A break is me spending time with my family, because most of my family, they stay in South Africa.
Okay.
So it's just that, just relaxing, taking some time off of social media for a bit.
Yeah.
So that when I come back, because social media is now work.
Yeah, girl. Okay, that's one of the questions that we are going to get into. But let me speak to Sakile, who is the Miss Universe Zimbabwe, who is no stranger to social media and the world of modeling. How are you feeling?
I'm very excited for this journey, and
Right.
every day I wake up, I pinch myself. I'm like, oh, it's happening. It's a moment that I've been waiting for
Really?
for a long time. So
Is
now
it?
it's here, and every day I have to remind myself that I'm living in my dream.
Right.
So,
You just need assistance with that microphone there. Just give us a few seconds. We've got Sakile Dube and Lisa Sivanda in studio with us for our She Diaries. So because of our time, we are just going to skip on to like the pertinent issues around beauty pageants, being women in Zimbabwe, and then having to face like the real world of modeling, because that's like a total different world compared to what happens momentarily within other countries. So I'll start with you, Sakile. How long have you been in the modeling industry?
So I started in 2016. That's when I started training to be a model. And I've always wanted to do pageants, specifically Miss Universe Zimbabwe, but we didn't have that in Zimbabwe. So I had to go to do something else whilst waiting and hoping that it's going to come back in our country.
Okay.
So I have done Miss Supranational in 2023, and I also had a chance to go to Miss Earth in 2022. And in both pageants, I was able to achieve what I did not believe I could, you know.
Right.
I managed to be the best model from Africa in both pageants. So I think that was a preparation for Miss Universe. And
Wow.
now that I'm here, I feel like I had to go through all that in order for me to succeed here now.
How different are the other beauty pageants that you took part in, comparing them to Miss Universe?
Miss Universe is a very big pageant.
Okay.
And it's something that I believe every girl wants to achieve in their life.
Okay.
And in as much as it's big, also the other pageants, they also teach you a lot on the way. I think the aspects are the same. You need to be dedicated. You need to have courage in order to do any pageants in general. So all these qualities are the same. They are all rounder in all pageants. The only difference that I think is there is that Miss Universe needs you to really stand up for yourself, stand up for who you are, and you know, and be involved in community service, and
which you were.
Yes,
you were. Oh, okay, with the community service, did you have to get involved because you were part of Miss Universe, or it's something that you had been doing all along?
No, so I grew up as an orphan myself, so this is something that I've always wanted to be involved in. I wanted to be able to use my impact, the little influence that I have, to also show other people, young children, orphans everywhere around Zimbabwe, that they can also do it. Your dreams are valid. Wonderful. And you have to continue fighting for your dreams, because you can achieve it. So for me, starting my project, there's the Zibusiso Foundation, which aims at promoting equal educational opportunities for orphans and vulnerable children in our communities. It is something that I started in 2021. Okay. And I realized that with the pageant platform, it is a great platform to also use for my project,
right,
as I'm able to reach quite a big number of people and sponsors. So I just took it to Miss Universe as well. You know, you have to have a voice of change for Miss Universe.
Absolutely.
So I realized if I was going to do something, it has to be something that comes from my heart.
Do you have a voice of change? Do you have a voice of change? Because at the pageant, we didn't get a chance to watch all the voice of change videos. I think we watched a few. And I was like waiting. I was like, where's Sakile's voice of change? Hello, what's your voice of change?
My voice of change is promotion of equal educational opportunities for orphans and vulnerable children.
I love that. I love that. So you went back home, you were like, this is close to home for me, because I grew up as an orphan.
I know when you have to choose a project, sometimes people think you have to tackle what's going on around the world, which is important as well. But for me, I wanted to do something that comes from deep down. that's come from deep down in my heart. It's something very close to me. So I wanted to do something that I'm already familiar with, something that I know I'll put all my effort into and my heart into it.
All right. Looking back at Sakile, 15 years of age, did you think Sakile now was going to achieve what she achieved?
Absolutely not. But I believed in myself. I had these dreams and I said I would die trying. The least I could do is
come where.
Yes, I knew that I was going to go down this path. What I did not expect is the turnout of events, how eventually things turned out. And honestly, I'm grateful. And I'm happy it's going the way things are going.
I'm happy. We also have Lisa, who was the first runner-up, who was tight competition for you at the Miss Universe, I must say.
Yes.
How did you guys remain friends? Because you know how people try to make you hate each other. You were the one who was supposed to win. No, but why did she? How did you guys remain friends?
Personally, I'm used to it. And I've been also in Lisa's position before.
Okay.
So it takes grace, because it's a competition, and for me, everyone was befitting to be crowned.
All right.
We all are different.
Are you just saying it because now
no, it's true. I think it's true. I think for you to be part of the finalists,
right?
They've already seen something in you. We are all queens in our own right.
Right.
So already being part of the finalists, it means any of us can have the crown. True. And the competition was very stiff.
You were shaking. I saw you. I was like, oh shit.
Yes, honestly, Lisa, she was a great competition, and it was a big challenge because I like to challenge myself. I like challenges. So I'm very honored, honestly, to be carrying the crown for Zimbabwe. Well done to Lisa.
Thank you very much. Yes. I think the journey was completely different from Sakile's, because this was my very, very first ever. So
did you ever think about entering pageants?
Yes, but then I took the typical route where my parents were like, you need to finish school first before looking into any other thing. So my story is completely different. So I only started to venture into modeling when I was after university.
Okay.
So I had to finish my law degree. I'm a lawyer by profession.
So what do we call you? Advocate? Counsel?
Counsel, advocate, there are a lot of names for it.
Right.
So after varsity, that's when I had the freedom to now look into the things that I actually enjoy doing.
Right.
But I've always been an avid follower of pageantry. So I know who won Miss Universe 2018, what they were doing. I watch interviews. I know everything from that perspective, but not as a participant.
Yeah.
But then when I joined Miss Universe, I was very excited, to be honest. It was a nice thing, and I couldn't believe that people were pinning me against Sakile. I was like, oh wow.
No, when I looked at the contestants, you were my top two.
Okay.
Yes, you were my top two, and I remember thinking, Sakile better look out for Lisa. And then I'm also thinking, Lisa better look out for Sakile. You two were my top. Obviously, facially, you guys represent like a beautiful Zimbabwean woman, and we want that. We want people to know Zimbabwe, right? But we also wanted the poise. We also wanted the brain. We also want, just like the full package of what a Zimbabwean is. That's why I had pinned it on the two of you. Now, coming to you, Lisa, with no modeling background, what does that look like for you now?
Okay, so it's not completely nothing. I did a bit of commercial modeling, so for your brands and ads and posters and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So it was
like commercial.
completely new for pageantry in particular. But it was interesting. It's actually an empowering platform because you get to do so many things that you wouldn't do sitting at home or going to work 9 to 5. You have to be very active. You have to interact with a lot of people, and now it's not just your community looking at you, it's your whole nation, and you could say the whole world looking at you. So it's quite a big platform, and Miss Universe Zimbabwe is quite big and is taking it is taking over space quite fast. The standards are the same as like your South Africa, or even we're getting
there. No,
exactly.
Definitely.
So it was quite big for me. But then, to be honest, I just felt like I was at home. I wasn't feeling any I was not nervous or anything. Or if you see my answers or anything, I was just like, you know,
Yeah, you were just like, oh, let me just answer.
Relax. Even my family, like, have you done this before? I was like, you know, I was just feeling quite comfortable. So I think it's confirmation that this is also my space, in my own way, which is quite good. So
will you enter again, like any other beauty pageants, or you're like, Miss Universe was it for me, and then I'll just look into other things commercially?
It's not about commercially or anything. When I entered Miss Universe, I saw it as an opportunity to give back to the community and also have a voice, because your Miss Universe, they are not just people. They are people who have a voice. You can collaborate with the government. You can collaborate with a lot of people, and you can do quite a lot with the platform. So it's me joining that aspect and beauty and fashion and putting it in one, because it's all of that.
Right.
So it's connected to what I did before, because I was part of the junior council growing up. I was in the inter club, so I was that person. So when I realized that you can actually do a lot with being a title holder, that's when I was like, okay, let me go for it, because it's not just being pretty in front and just walking down the runway. It's a lot. So it's things like these, and then you receive messages from people who say a lot like, oh my god, you inspired me to do this, or
how do those messages make you feel? You're like, oh my god,
that is so
like
nice.
I did that.
Exactly. So you're inspiring a lot of people, which is what you need to do as a title holder.
As a title holder, we've got Sakile Dube, Miss Universe, and the first runner-up, Lisa Sibanda, in studio as our She Diaries guest for today. I think I'm going to call you ladies back, because you cheated us on this time thing. Like, you really did. I'm going to call you back again, and we will talk about other stuff. What are some of the myths that you've heard about modeling that you want to dispel?
The myths? Well, in Zimbabwe in particular, you know, our community, we have societal values that, someone would say are not aligned with being a model.
Right.
So there's a lot that people say about models, you know, but I think the biggest myth about models is that they're just pretty faces. You know,
there we go.
They're just shallow. But I think, from speaking from someone who has been a model for such a long time, I think what we models are doing, it's not everyone who can do it, who can stand up and stand in front of everyone and be able to do what we're doing. Like, from nowhere, you're given a mic, you ask a question, you have to answer it instantly. So for someone to look at us and assume that we're just pretty faces, we're shallow, I think it doesn't hold water, because now we also have to stand up for the society. We have to stand up for our community and do these projects that we have to collaborate with other, like the government, for example. And you need to be smart to do that.
Yeah, true story.
You need to challenge yourself. You know, you have to challenge your mindset, challenge who you are, in order for you to be able to stand in front of people and be a speaker, stand up for women, stand up for children. So I think it is just a myth that models are.
All right. And for you, Lisa, what are some of the modeling myths that you've heard and you were like, okay, maybe not?
It's the same thing. I think when people think of models, they just think physical appearance. But then if you really look at the contestants at Miss Universe Zimbabwe 2024, they were quite smart people. Even the conversations that you would have with them, or the interviews, or the Voice for Change videos, I think it showed how Zimbabweans are smart people. We are well-educated people, and this platform really reinforces that. So it's not just being beautiful. You need to be able to converse with people. You need to talk about serious subjects. What is happening in the world. You need to be up to date with current affairs. You need to keep yourself abreast with the relevant matters. And if you want to go to your primary school children, what challenges are they facing? If you're going to go to the old people in Zimbabwe, what challenges are they also facing? So you need to be able to represent a very wide demographic of the people in Zimbabwe. So you cannot do that without the brains for it.
And also, just being a model in general, in any country, you become a brand ambassador for your country. Yeah. So for you to be able to carry out your duties as a brand ambassador, you need to know what is happening in your country in order for for you to be able to go outside and re-engage, like as we're planning to re-engage a brand Zimbabwe internationally to the world.
Yeah.
So you need to know what is going on currently in your country for you to. So I believe, as Lisa already mentioned, in order to be able to do that, you need to be smart.
Yeah. I was in Namibia last week, and I was supposed to meet with a young lady who, I think she's Miss International or something in her country, and they were focusing on the SDGs. So yeah, so she's got like these posts that she puts out every now and then. She says, choose one SDG and do something every day towards it. If you were to choose one SDG to focus on, what SDG would that be? Like, what's the one thing that you think, no, the world needs to do this a little bit better?
Okay, you can go. The queen can go first.
Yes. Go on, queen.
As someone who is already advocating for promotion of equal education.
Okay, so you are on the education
I'm on the
side of things.
education side, because I believe that education is the key to achieving other SDG goals. With education, we can eradicate poverty. We can eradicate hunger. So I believe, specifically for me, the goal that I'm leaning on mostly is the education, because I believe it is the one that is an umbrella for everything else.
Okay, and for you, Lisa?
Mine would be SDG number 5, gender equality. I believe that because my voice for change is fighting against the social ills.
I object.
The social ills of gender-based violence. So it's not only dedicated to women, but then also men. So it's quite wide. And when people think about gender-based violence, they think physical violence or sexual violence, but it's a lot. It's exploitation, it's human trafficking, it's assault, it's a lot of things. It's harassment, it's verbal abuse, it's quite a lot. So you find that on a daily basis, people almost always face gender-based violence without even knowing it. So when I was thinking of what to do, I was like, this is what I need to advocate for, because it's the worst thing is not to know that you're a victim when you're a victim. So I need to raise awareness that people actually know that no, this is not right. If we are able to tackle these issues from the grassroots, from primary schools, ECDs, we are able to build a better Zimbabwe for tomorrow. And it's not just something that's confined to Zimbabwe, it's also something that is everywhere. So it affects every race, every religion, every person. So it's something that I really think that I can't even do the most for.
I'm with you there, girl. I'm with you. It's 1 o'clock. We'll continue with our Beauty Queen soon after the news, just to wrap up properly. It's Capital 100.4 FM, 1 o'clock. Stand by for the news.